Hey everybody, welcome back to IP Farms. Well, it's a little overcast today. We're getting ready to get a lot more rain than we've already had. I think you guys are getting snow or did get some snow. It's Tuesday, March 25th or 26th, I think. Last full day I've got before me and the wife head off to our first trip of the season to the coast. We go around Easter every year. Been looking forward to that. Trying to cram as much in as I can on the sprayer. So I'm not sure if this video is part two is right behind the other one, or if I was able to squeeze a video in between, but I promise there's only two. You saw what I got finished in the first one: tire and wheel, axle, redoing the boom sections as far as taking the slop out of them. So we're gonna try to do some plumbing on this one and spacing. I don't know how that's gonna go. The first thing I have to do is drop everything down. We talked about that. I'll turn you around here in a minute and show you. I've already dropped the main boom section down. Now I've got to drop the carriage itself down a little bit to get me down closer to the 20-inch mark. Again, trial by fire with me. I've read as much as I possibly can, talked to a lot of good friends. It's helped me out behind the scenes, so we're doing the best we can with the sprayer situation, good, bad, or ugly. It's going to go in the field at some point. Fingers crossed that it'll be pre-emerged before we plant corn. Time will tell. Let's see what we can do. Well, I didn't even show you guys the finished product in another video like I said I would, but there it is. Worked out great. Took all the slop out. You can see the way this sprayer is built with the two pieces angled there with all the holes in them for the chain supports and the boom cradle. So I moved that down about 6 holes. It was at about 32, 36 inches. And I moved it down to the bottom. It got us about 23.5 to 24. So I don't have any more adjustment there. So what I'm gonna do now is drop the cradle down itself. This hole go here, and this one of course will drop down. These holes are spaced at about 3 3/4, so I think that'll get me pretty close to where I need to be. Yes, I am running 80-degree tips, 20-inch spacing on the booms, what I'm going to shoot for, if I can make it work. Gosh, that calculation drives me nuts. And then I need to be about 20 inches off of quote-unquote the target. Look, I learned a fancy word. Not that I know exactly what all this means, but we're doing it the best we can. Let's get to work. Well, I am going to have to move the top braces to be able to kick the top back in, but we got it dropped down enough to get a bolt in it here. I'm going to go ahead and measure the booms and make sure that that's going to be where it needs to be before I move the top braces. I think it is. Sure looks low. I mean, I know that, well, I don't know, but that's what I've read. 20-inch spacing, 20-inch off of target / ground. Okay, let's measure it. I think that's going to be about right by the time I twist the carriage back forward as much as it needs to go. Should put me right at 20. I mean, it's not going to be perfect by any means because the boom's got some bends to it, but that'll be close. Pretty neat. I like that. Gives you quite the options on moving the booms. I looked at several before I bought this one that were kind of homemade, and I know with a 3-point you can adjust it some on the tractor, but I think this will come in handy for all the big ideas I have later on down the road. So yeah, right back in there, hold everything tight. Well, that worked out good. Put me at about 20.5, 20, something like that. So I like the infinite possibilities on the boom adjustment there. All right, I'm gonna get some hose routing going here. I'm not sure exactly. They've got it looped on the outside. I don't think that is correct. Maybe it is, but I think I'm gonna go down through the middle and try to keep it up and out of the way as much as possible. So let's get started. I debated on doing this, filming it rather, but there may be somebody else out there that struggles with certain things like I do. Common sense at certain days just seems to evade me to no end. So I sketched this out many times on a piece of paper and could not make it work in my head. Keep in mind, what I'm trying to figure out is how 20-inch spacing is going to work with 38-inch rows. Couldn't make it happen with pencil and paper, so I've done it before. Had some leftover deck boards from the farm office. We grabbed them and laid them out. Yep, they represent 38-inch rows of corn. The little containers there represent where the tire tracks will run in all these rows of corn. And I started beating my head against the wall because it wasn't making sense. Well, I'm sure you all figured it out by now, what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're broadcast spraying, not row crop spraying right now. So the two spacings don't go hand in hand right now. With my 80-degree tips and 20-inch spacing, I need to be about 20 inches off the ground. We talked about that earlier, and that is for the overlap. Has nothing to do with the rows right now. All I'm spraying is pre-emerge and possibly burn down. When it comes time to do nitrogen, I've got a situation in my mind now because these boards are laid out here. So sometimes if you've got ideas and you can't make it work on paper and you're like me, just grab whatever parts you can and throw it together and see if it makes better sense. Because it sure did with me. Let's get back after starting to mount some nozzles. Thought you guys might get a kick out of that. I'm not sure how many of these bolts are going to break or how many will come loose, but get everything pulled off, and I do have one mounted right in the center of the sprayer. We'll start out with our measurements. So let me get all these loose and turn you guys around, and we'll start measuring and see if they're going to come up right or not. We got to drill new holes. Well, we're going to measure 20 inches. This one's in the center. I have double checked that. We're going to measure over 20 inches. Of course, there's not a hole there. I don't think any of them exactly lined up. So we'll get us a drill bit, drill a hole. The other one's over here going to be under you guys in the camera mount. And then we'll just work our way out and see where we end up. Put you on some high speed for that. Get all the holes drilled. I'll get all these plates on there. I took those back there to the anvil and flattened them all out, and then we'll get the nozzle bodies in and see what we can come up with from there about starting to plumb it. So I think you get the gist of that. Just spaced them out, drilled the holes, bolted it up. I got to find another bolt. I'll go ahead and finish this side up over there and then get the nozzle bodies in it. I'll bring you back and we'll start doing a little bit of plumbing if we can. Stay tuned. Well, we got most of the nozzle bodies in. I left them loose for right now just so I can get the hose in between. So I think what I'm gonna do is go from this one to the end and get everything good and tight there, and then of course that'll be the connection hose for this boom. And then the middle one here, I think I'm gonna put that T in bring the hose right up beside that brace, put the T in, and then the same thing down there. So I'll probably get putting a hose or two on. I don't want to make you sit here and watch me do it for 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll probably turn on some high speed. My inexperience strikes again. I ordered the tips and failed to really look at the chart like they were supposed to be. I went off color, and these are to get what I need on my rate. I think I would have to run like 14 or 16 miles per hour. So that's not going to happen. So we might have to get us some more tips, but that's not the end of the world. They weren't that expensive. So all right, let's get started. Well, I had you on for the first one, and I had you mounted to the boom, and me prying around on it, the camera was just bouncing up and down, so we moved you to get you a clip of the second one here. Some people told me to use black hose, some people told me to use the clear hose. I don't know what's right, what's wrong. Like I said, it's trial by fire, so we'll try the clear and see what happens. I don't really know the difference other than probably UV making this clear brittle. I don't know. Some people say you want to be able to see what's going on, make sure you got stuff flowing through, but time will tell. So like I said, I left the nozzle bodies loose. Well, no, first time. No, I said that a while ago, didn't I? Tell you, these long videos get me, guys. I can forget within 5 minutes what I've told you, so I'm probably repeating myself. But anyway, left the nozzle bodies loose so we can twist around, hopefully get these hoses as tight as we possibly can with my OCD. But need a new pair of snips too. But anyway, we'll get these hoses strung along on both sides, and once we get to the inlet hoses for the feed system, I'll bring you back for that. We'll see if we can, if I've got enough hose. I think I do. I think, you know how I am. But yeah, when I was pushing on this one on the other side, you guys were bouncing all around. Hands don't work like they used to. That's not too bad, I don't guess. It'll probably drive me nuts, but anyway. Alright, I'll bring you back in a few minutes, guys. Well, I didn't bring you guys along for much of that there at the end. I just got going and kept on digging. Everything turned out pretty good. I'm not the happiest with the way the hose is here. I may end up later on making me some hose holders or something. You know, the booms fold up there, but we'll see. All in all, I can't complain too much. I've got to oil the pump up, and I think I am going to probably get some new hose for the front up there and strap the tank down, tighten a few things up on the tank itself, and I believe it'll be ready to spray. So let me get situated here, and we'll probably just call this an ending of part 2 on a little Century 2300 sprayer rebuild slash makeover. Well guys, hopefully you enjoyed the videos on the little sprayer here. Wasn't a whole lot. Tried to get as much as I could. Had some requests for some longer videos, so that's what we did. I'm sure they both turned out super long. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death, but it's pretty much ready to go in the field. A few odds and ends we gotta take care of, and this is one more project I can count off the list. And real quick, I just want to clarify, I never intended on doing or going complete organic. I had thought about it way back, but I just don't have the market for it here. So when I said I wasn't going to spray, and I bought the cultivators and everything, a couple of people asked me about that, and I did, you know, research and talk to several people about what it takes to do that. And honestly, I don't have the time, meaning I'm working full time, and you know, that's something you have to stay on top of, and if you don't, it can get away from you. And you know, when it needs to be done, it needs to be done right then. And I can't right now put myself in that kind of situation because it's hard enough for me to learn everything else. So that's the reason we went ahead and fixed the sprayer. And you know, I found some cheap parts, so it wasn't near as bad as what I thought. But anyway, we've hit the ground running farming now again, or getting ready to, trying to rather. I've got to spread the wheels out on the 180, and I've got the fertilizer distributor hooked to the 165 ready. We've had a bunch of rain. As soon as it does dry up, we've got a lot more rain coming too, but whenever it does, I want to be ready. And hopefully, fingers crossed, things go well for our first year of planting corn. but I'm sure it will be an adventure, so definitely stay tuned. Really appreciate everybody being here. Thank you for following on the journey with me. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, so we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. Until then, thank you.